Viewers, good evening. The Waqf intolerance has shattered every boundary, every pretense of civility. I don't want to mince my words tonight. BJP leader Muhammad Asghar Ali's home in Manipur was set ablaze, all because he dared to raise his voice for reform. A mob did not just strike, they barred the fire brigades, they blocked the police, they let it burn. This is not anger, this is war on dissent, war on democracy itself. Viewers, think about it. A man's home reduced to ashes, his life endangered, all because you dared to back a law passed by elected representatives. This is the face of Waqf intolerance laid bare. An intolerance that does not debate but destroys, that does not reason but retaliates. And yet, where are the shrill voices that cry democracy is dead at every turn, at every shadow? Their silence is not just complicity, it is cowardice, exposing the selective commitment to free speech and justice. Viewers, it is the betrayal of everything they have claimed to stand for so far. And then we have Iltija Mufti, yes, Mehbooba Mufti's daughter, stepping forth, her voice dripping with disdain. She asks, why does Omar Abdullah walk with Kiran Rijiju, a union minister? The man who introduced the Waqf bill in parliament, welcomed in Srinagar's Tulip Garden, but she is miffed as if it's treason on part of Omar Abdullah to be seen with him. Her insinuation that Abdullah should have shunned Rijiju for daring to introduce this legislation reeks of a boycott mentality, viewers, that stifles dialogue and demonizes dissent. This is not a call for accountability. It is a demand for exclusion, a tactic as undemocratic as it is petty. Viewers, the opposition's narrative hinges on painting the Waqf Act as a threat to Muslims. Yet, here is a Muslim majority state's leader engaging with a union minister, a symbol of democratic cooperation they refuse to tolerate. Their intolerance, viewers, betrays their own charge against the Modi government. And how can we not talk about Owaisi? He rushes to the Supreme Court, clutching his petition like a torch, howling Hindutva agenda over a law forged in the crucible of democracy. 12 hours of debate, 288 votes in Lok Sabha, 128 in the Rajya Sabha, sealed by the President's assent. This is the people's will and Desh ka Qanoon, as Home Minister Amit Shah had said in Parliament. Yet, Owaisi calls it oppression. The same Owaisi, viewers, who sneered at the court after Ayodhya verdict, who ridiculed its verdict when it did not suit him. Now he begs its mercy to crush Parliament's decision. Viewers, this is not opposition, it's annihilation. This ecosystem does not guard democracy. It is a threat to democratic norms. India's parliament stands at the bedrock of its democracy, and the Modi government's mandate is its voice, at least for the next 4 years until the next election. The opposition's insidious campaign against the Waqf Act is not just an attack on law. It is an assault on that voice, a mockery of the voters who entrusted their faith in this system, and it cannot be smothered with lies and propaganda.
ट्यूलिप गार्डन में शेर कश्मीर जिन्होंने इस मुल्क का इल्हाक किया इस हिंदुस्तान के साथ, एक मुस्लिम मेजॉरिटी स्टेट का इल्हाक किया, आज वो हाथ में हाथ डाले उस मिनिस्टर के साथ घूम रहे हैं जिसने वक्फ का ये जो काला कानून जो लाया, जिससे हमारे कब्रिस्तान पे भी हमारा हक ख़त्म हो गया। ज़िंदगी तो बर्बाद कर दी इन्होंने, मगर हमारे कब्रिस्तान तक हमसे छीनना चाहते हैं।
आइए मोहम्मद अस्कर अली लेफम लिलोंग और विसमरुखों आइना हंदक राज्य सभा अमदी लोक सभा दा पास तौखिबा अखोइगी वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल अदुबु तोंगान बा वीडियो शेयर तौरगा आइगी फेसबुक पोस्ट की पोस्ट होइना तौखिबा अमदी शेयर होइना सु तौखिबा लोइना कमेंट होइना तोंगान बा फेसबुक अकाउंट सिंगी पोस्ट खरा जब कमेंट होइना पीरुबा मदु आई तसेंना लांजरे अमदी मदु मतुंग मनो मखाताना आई साइट की तौजररोय हाइबा वफम मदु आई लेरिबा मुस्लिम इस्लाम अमदी मैती पांगल इस्लाम सिंगी वफमदा आई सेंगोक्सरी लोइना आइना वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल असिबुसु आई यानिंगदे अमदी मसि खुदत रिपील तौगदबनी हाइबा वफम असिसु आई सोशल मीडिया की थ्रू दा आई फोंगोक्सरी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Let's open this up. Shahzad Poonawala, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Deepak Reddy, National Spokesperson of the TDP. Advocate Aditya Gupta, Spokesperson of the PDP. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Advocate Tala Rashidi, Spokesperson of the Rashtriya Ulema Council, and Professor Atikur Rahman completes the panel. Who do I begin with? Aditya Gupta, why is Iltija Mufti calling for boycott of Kiran Rijiju?
Good evening to you and good evening to my fellow panelists as well. Her tweet and her reaction and the reaction to the party is very simple. We have been very clearly saying that it's a show of dissent. When National Conference, the Chief Minister Omar Abdullah's party, wants to have a debate and wants to pass a resolution in the assembly, at the same that resolution is not allowed to be tabled by the Speaker of National Conference. At the same time, Omar Abdullah's half of the MLAs want to protest against the Waqf Board, and Mr. Abdullah at the same time is playing the good cop, being next with Mr. Rijiju. So it's nothing more than the eyewash for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. At least what he's not walking the talk that he has been always doing. So it was a tweet to tell him that what he said, he's saying his actions are completely contrary to what he has been saying.
No, but why should a minister be boycotting for introducing a law or a bill that has now become a law? What is this mindset?
Why do you think that it is a boycott? It's a dissent. It's a way of dissent. That since you're setting MLAs in the assembly have a caveat to the Waqf bill being passed, and I also want to debate the same, and you have a different
Mr. Gupta,
stance on the
then
same
answer this question. I'm sure you've seen that post by Iltija Mufti. She says the chief minister of a Muslim majority state. What is the Muslim majority logic here?
See, that is the uniqueness as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. There's nothing hidden. See, majority of the population in Jammu and Kashmir is a Muslim population. They are feeling sent because the 3 MPs also from Jammu and Kashmir oppose the said bill. So that is the majority of the population views also. So that is what was said. Now you want to categorize it as calling it to
your
be
leader has categorized it. I am not. If I ask you a question, do Hindus, get the privileges as enjoyed by the minority community, even in that state, you will have a red face. So, I don't want to get there because it will only waste our time. But you see, this is not right. You're playing with fire. Stop doing it. Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, a man called Muhammad Akhtar Ali, a BJP leader, his house was set on fire. What is this kind of dissent, sir?
Oh, Pranesh, you must understand one thing, that Muslims in India are already grappling with a systematic marginalization, be it in education, employment, housing or political representation. When institutions like Waqf, which are central to my heritage and to my charity, are touched without a proper consultative process.
Should we have another forum? Is there Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, is there a bigger forum? Is there a bigger forum than the parliament of this country where you want this process to be followed? Was the due process not followed in parliament? Were the Congress leaders not allowed to speak, sir? And what is this excuse, marginalized community, etc., etc.? When will you get over it? If you don't have the numbers, you don't have the numbers. How does democracy run, sir? It is the people's mandate. After a law is passed, you come out and say, look, Muslims are marginalized.
Pranesh, you are too old and generalist. Pranesh, I don't want to shout over you because you are the anchor of the program, but you are too senior a journalist to understand that democracy does not end in majoritarian, which was followed during the Waqf bill passing in the parliament. Democracy is all about dissent and consultative process. The way the government brought in this rule, this law, and how the Rajya Sabha members reacted after the bill was passed is a clear sign and
how did they react?
That a particular community has been shown its place in the
How did they react, sir? I don't know. Please tell our viewers, how did they react?
You know very well.
If you don't have the numbers, this is how you react. What do you do? And if this law was so important, if this bill was so important, a threat to, identity of a community, why was Rahul Gandhi silent, sir? Why didn't he speak? All the others spoke. Gaurav Gogoi spoke. Why didn't your leader of opposition speak? So much for dissent, dialogue, etc. Kamruzaman Chaudhary.
Pranesh,
ताला रशीदी, असादुद्दीन ओवैसी ने क्या कहा था जब अयोध्या का वर्डिक्ट आया था? उन्होंने कहा था ब्लैक डे फॉर डेमोक्रेसी, और भी क्या क्या कहा था। अब वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जा रहे हैं और बोल रहे हैं हिंदुत्व एजेंडा है।
So he has every right to go to the Supreme Court and he has every right to condemn a law. What's the big deal in it?
Okay. You have every right to condemn the law. Will you condemn this act in Manipur? The house of a BJP leader burnt because he backed the reform. Do you condemn this?
Any act of violence done by anyone, by anybody from any side is highly condemnable.
No,
and
don't
should
get
not
into
be-
any many.
should
I
not
am
be
giving you a
tolerated.
specific instance. Do you condemn this? Is Muhammad
I-
Aksar Ali a lesser Muslim than you
Yes,
or Mr. Owaisi?
Allow me. There's no alma meter to see who is a better Muslim, who is not a better Muslim. Any act of violence.
I said a lesser Muslim.
You won't allow me to answer it. The issue is that you can't hear the truth and you won't allow someone to reply. I've told you that any incident, including this one of violence, is seriously unbearable and should not be allowed to happen and should be condemned in harshest of the words, and action should be taken against all the culprits. This is a democratic country. There is an established process of the law. If you have any dissent with any law, with any action of the government, you should condemn it in a democratic way. You should protest against it as per the process of the constitution, and you have all the right to protest.
Shehzad,
against
allow the
anything.
opposition to protest.
Now, Mr. Kamruzzaman Chaudhary is too old to not know that dissent does not mean dadagiri and dhamki. Beating up Zahid Saifi from Sambhal just because he supported the law is not dissent. Burning down a Muslim leader's house because he supported the Waqf Act is not dissent. Going and doing ruckus in the Jammu Kashmir assembly is not dissent. Threatening Aga Khanis, threatening people from the dargahs, threatening Pasmanda Muslims just because they supported the Waqf Act is not dissent. It is actually dhamki and dadagiri. But then they talk about Samvidhan and they are actually intolerance ki dukaan. What did Mr. Dharmendra Yadav said? Sansad nahi chalne denge. Imran Solanki, civil war ho jayega. Shaheen Bagh bana denge. This was said by the Congress leader. Sadke ke jam kar lenge. This was said in Kolkata. Now I'm asking that which of this is actually dissent? All of this is taking the parliament and the Sansad hostage through the Sadak. And Palestine flags are seen in the protest. What does Palestine flags have to do with this Waqf Act? And by the way, if this is majoritarian, systematic discrimination, I remember Kamruzzaman Chaudhary, 3 Talaq law came in through the Supreme Court. This is discrimination against Muslims. No people got arrested unnecessarily. Still he said that. CA Kanun aaya, Nagrikta chin jayegi. Nobody's Nagrikta was taken away. Still he kept on with that narrative. Now he's saying कि देखिए अब मस्जिद और कब्रिस्तान छिन जाएंगे. I want to ask only one thing. Is this a Hindu-Muslim issue? The complaints have been made by Muslim community, including Aga Khani community. KCBC and the CBCI, the Christian bodies, have made complaints. Mr. Benny from the Idukki District Congress Committee has resigned from the Congress, saying that you are catering only to the Muslim Tushtikaran and you are not speaking up for the Christian lands that have been taken away. Is that also a Hindu-Muslim issue? The point is, this is not a battle between Hindus and Muslims. It is a battle between the Pasmandas and the land grabbers, between those who want Ummah and those who want Ummeed, those who want Samvidhan and those who want lawlessness. That is all this is.
Mr. Deepak Reddy, today it is Kiran Rijiju at the receiving end or almost at the receiving end of their wrath. Tomorrow it will be the TDP because you have backed this reform. They will say boycott TDP, TDP is communal, etc.
Pranesh, yeah, that's been going on for the last 3-4 days. And we came out and we had to really tell what we did in the last 40 years for the Muslim community. So that doubt is now pretty much cleared from the Muslim brothers and sisters' minds, but not from these problem-causing elements. Let me, I was like really shocked today to see the news of so many Muslim leaders or Muslim people who actually supported this, who were attacked across the country. This is really shocking. I mean, they have not attacked any other community but the fellow Muslims only. Why is this being done? Why are they being so lawlessness is the question what I had. And then after reading up now, I have realized that 52,000 communal incidents have taken place in India after independence. Out of that, 3,000 over are being very serious communal violences during the Congress time. So this is the kind of a political culture what the Congress has gotten into the system is what I would like to point out. And one thing very interesting is, I've seen videos of certain leaders, Muslim leaders from Hyderabad, who were commenting on Owaisi and MIM to be one of the largest land grabbers just today morning. And similarly, I've seen videos of Maulanas and other Muslim leaders from across the country saying the same thing, that certain section of the Muslim community who were part of the Waqf board have stolen a whole lot of lands, and they are demanding a detailed inquiry into each transaction which took place, and the truth would come out. So the deserving Muslims are not getting it, and only a small section have siphoned off most of the assets. What's interesting here is more than 10,000 cases related to Waqf are where the victims are Muslims themselves. So the Waqf did not leave a fellow Muslim also. So now the facts have come out in Kerala. The Christian lands which were gone, they have complained to Rahul Gandhi, but he did not bother. That is why the Christian community is quite unhappy, and now they are joining BJP, because in spite of bringing it to Rahul Gandhi's notice, he did not even bother. And I mean, looking at the Hindu incidents, I don't need to say. And several lands related to government lands also, the facts are all out. So now I have a small tip through this, my closing comment. Whoever is creating ruckus on the roads now, if the law agencies get a little smart and, track these guys and get into their antecedents, for sure, these are the guys who are actually behind the theft of the Waqf lands. So this is a tip what I would like to
give. But Mr. Reddy, the moment you do that, people like Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Talha Rashidi and Abdul Razak Khan here, he's not here, Atikur Rahman, represents the same mindset. They will say, look, a community is now under attack. The crackdown has begun. This is the reality that we were warning of. Atikur Rahman, do you support this boycott mentality, sir? Iltija Mufti saying, why was Omar Abdullah as the chief minister hobnobbing with Kiran Rijeju?
Well, good, Pranesh, that you have talked about this mindset. And let me tell you what this mindset of mine is. Extremely condemnable act. The parliament has passed a law which we do not support. We have another avenues to make the government realize that the discomfort of this community will be shown in the courts, in the High Court and the Supreme Court.
Okay, you're talking about courts. No, 1 minute. Atikur Rahman Sahab, you're talking about courts. I quickly want to ask you, I'm sure you remember the commentary around the Ayodhya verdict. What did people say? I've just said what Owaisi said. You know what the others said? Should I read it out, sir? The Jamia Ulema Hind, he said those who fight for freedom of their country are called freedom fighters and not terrorists. He said this, lauding Hamas and Hamas's courage and bravery. There are other instances of the AIM PLB and organizations like these actually ridiculing and attacking the Supreme Court on the Ayodhya verdict. Now these same set of individuals have gone to the Supreme Court.
So let the Supreme Court, throw them out now. If the Supreme Court feels that they have acted otherwise, and
the Supreme Court will do what it wants. The Supreme Court will do, sir, what it wants to. I am asking you, as a matter of principle, if you have no faith in an institution, why go to the Supreme Court? Do you have faith in the Supreme Court, Atikur Rahman Sahab? Do you believe Ayodhya verdict was just?
When the Home Minister of India said that courts should not interfere in Sabarimala case,
you tell me, do you have faith in the Supreme Court? Atikur Rahman Sahab, I am asking you as an individual, you have faith in the Supreme Court? Do you think the Ayodhya verdict was just? Simple question, sir.
Not to give their verdict on a religious matter in Sabarimala. What do I understand of the Supreme Court?
I am asking you about the Supreme Court. Shehzad Poonawala, people who have no faith in Supreme Court or zero faith in Supreme Court are today saying, look, the Supreme Court will support us.
Mr. Atikur Rahman, 3 talaq faisla came from Supreme Court. How many of the Jamaat actually agreed to it? The Shah Banu verdict came from the Supreme Court. Then in Parliament, you vote a lot to overturn the Supreme Court. When Parliament does something for the Muslim women and the Pasmandas, then you go to Supreme Court to overturn the decision. That means Garib Musalman or Mahilaon ke liye kuch na ho. I want to ask you, I studied the 10 PILs that were filed. Out of that, 7 PILs were filed by these geniuses even before the act was signed and assented by the President. which means the act was not in place. Even before the act was in place, they have gone and challenged. What have they challenged in Supreme Court? This means सिर्फ विरोध के लिए विरोध करना है. And I want to ask only one question today. That when the Supreme Court has given the verdict on Article 370, did they agree? When the Supreme Court has given the verdict on CAA, have they agreed? Ask Mr. Owaisi. Does he agree? He does not agree. So this Supreme Court बहाना है, सिर्फ मुसलमानों को भड़काना है, और इसीलिए कभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट और कभी शाहीन बाग बनाना है.
कमरुज़मान जी,
No, basically it's a fool to say that any person who goes and approaches the Supreme Court is against the constitution or against the parliament.
No, these are not random ordinary individuals, sir. These are people who have little faith in the Supreme Court. पूरा सबूत है मेरे पास क्या क्या उन्होंने बोला था, आपको भी पता है.
Yes, of course. नहीं, मेरे पास भी एक सबूत मैं बता रहा हूं. 1973 का एक केस ले लो, केशवानंदा भारती केस, where against the state of Kerala, where did the Supreme Court struck down the parts of the 24th, 25th and the 29th constitutional amendments to protect the basic structure of the constitution. In this case also, we feel that the basic structure of the constitution is under attack by the right-wing government that is governing the country. The basic structure doctrine started from this 1973 case. And it's very important to understand that what happened in Manipur or what happened in other places where the members of the minority community
now,
were attacked.
Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, how convenient is it for you to quote the Keswananda Bharti case and not talk about the Shah Bano case, sir? What was the Supreme Court trying to do there? That you had to bring a law to overturn the judgment? Who was the Prime Minister, sir? Kamruzaman ji,
the election commission of appointment was also overturned.
Yeah, देखिए अभी election शाह बानो पे election commission पहुंच गए आप, शहजाद.
On this very point, first of all, good you have said that the basic structure of constitution was under threat in 1973, which was also Indira Gandhi's government, by the way. But since you have spoken about basic structure, in basic structure, one of the things that has been elaborated by the Supreme Court is the right to approach the judiciary for judicial review. Now, this particular law of the Waqf, Section 6 said tribunal order is final, no appeal will lie to the courts. This was against the basic structure of the constitution, sir. Basic structure of the constitution says that you cannot be a judge in your own cause. Waqf Act before this was saying that I will be the judge in my own case. That you have to come to me. I will make the claim. You get the proof that the claim is not right and you will hear it in front of me. This was against the basic structure. So therefore, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, please tell me that you support this law now or not.
Have lied. They are all liars, right from the Home Minister to the minister presenting the bill.
Let's call out their lies.
There are no Waqf boards across the world in other Islamic countries.
Said this. Who has
there
said
are
this?
57 Islamic boards.
Sir, आप चला दीजिए वो clip चला दीजिए.
He said Waqf Act.
Point number one. There are.
Sir, there are no Waqf Acts in many countries which are Islamic. In Saudi, there is no Waqf Act.
Okay, first
in
number,
Turkey, it is not there.
No,
in Oman, it is not there. आप मर्जी से कोर्ट मिसकोट करेंगे, होम मिनिस्टर को हम सुनते रहेंगे.
Yourself a foolish man by tongue twisting. Don't try to be a foolish by tongue.
No. Where is the tongue twisting? Where is the tongue twisting? Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji.
No, Aga Khani community is Jaychand. Pasmanda is Jaychand. I take strong objection on behalf of Aga Khani community that because we are supported, we are being called Jaychand. Because we are Pasmanda, we are being called Jaychand.
ताला रशीदी जी को हंसी आ रही है. ताला रशादी जी, अभी सर अभी मुस्लिम मार्जिनलाइज नहीं लग रहा आपको?
नेशनल टीवी पे बैठकर झूठ बोलते हैं. इनको राज्यसभा जाना है, अपना नंबर बढ़ाना है, इसलिए पसमानदा का गाना गाना है और वक्त की बड़ाई बताना. मैं बता रहा हूँ, इनको बोलिए पेरेंट एक्ट है वक्त की, उसका क्लॉज 83 पढ़िए, उसमें साफ लिखा है कि हाईकोर्ट में अपील की जा सकती है. झूठा नैरेटिव बनाना बंद कर दे. इनको औकाफ और वक्त का फर्क नहीं पता. ये वक्त को वकफ बोल रहे हैं, ये मुसलमान अपने आप को बता रहे हैं. इनको वक्त को प्रोनाउंस करना नहीं आता. झूठे ये
मंत्री का प्रोनाउंसिएशन बोल रहा था.
कर रहे हैं.
अब प्रोनाउंसिएशन
क्लॉज 83 देखिए.
नहीं, वो सर्टिफिकेट आप दे दीजिएगा ये असली मुसलमान है या नहीं है. बट ताला रशीदी, एक मिनट सर, एक मिनट. ताला भाई एक मिनट रुकिए. सवाल तो सुन लीजिए, बिना सवाल के जवाब दे रहे हैं आप. सुनिए एक मिनट. ताला भाई, सवाल मैं ये पूछ रहा हूं आपसे, ये जो मणिपुर में अटैक हुआ, इल्तिजा मुफ्ती जो बोल रही हैं, इल्तिजा मुफ्ती कह रही है किरण रिजिजू के साथ कोई चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ अ मुस्लिम मेजॉरिटी स्टेट, तो उनको तो जवाब मिल गया. वहां उमर अब्दुल्ला ने बता दिया है कि हाँ हम वेलकम कर रहे हैं. वो सेंटिमेंट है कि नहीं? आप लोग जो बोलते हैं सेफ डेमोक्रेसी, तो सेफ डेमोक्रेसी में सर क्या चलता है? मैंडेट चलता है। उमर अब्दुल्ला के पास मैंडेट है, उन्होंने स्वागत किया किरण रिजिजू का, और इस हिसाब से तो महबूबा मुफ्ती एंड फैमिली का बॉयकॉट हो जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि बुरहान वानी के लिए वो रो रही थी। कौन था बुरहान वानी?
तो बीजेपी का भी बॉयकॉट होना चाहिए। महबूबा मुफ्ती के साथ अलायंस करके सरकार में थे, वहां पे
मोदी जी का आप कह रहे हैं बॉयकॉट होना चाहिए। प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी हैज बीन बॉयकॉटेड बाय मेनी कंट्रीज। वो जहां जहां जाते हैं आप देख लीजिए सर, रिकॉर्ड वहीं पे उनको वो सिविलियन ऑनर दे देते हैं उस देश का। ऐसा बॉयकॉट कर रहे हैं उनको ऐसा बॉयकॉट कर रहे हैं कि आप लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि आप बोले क्या। एक बात बताइए, इस्लामिक कंट्री में सर, एक मिनट, इफ यू थिंक और इफ मिस्टर ओवैसी थिंक्स दैट मोदी इज एंटी मुस्लिम, व्हाट एक्सप्लेन्स? सर एक मिनट, ताला भाई सवाल तो सुनिए, डोंट कीप टॉकिंग, लिसन टू माय क्वेश्चन। What explains the honor? No, 1 minute, sir. The respect that Prime Minister Modi gets when he goes abroad, especially to some of these countries, क्यों देते हैं उनको? क्या वो देश संघी देश है? क्या है वहां पे?
कंट्रीज की यही तो रोना है कि बाहर के लोगों से गले मिलेंगे और यहाँ पर कहेंगे शमशान और कभी।
तो एक बात बताइए, अच्छा ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया, बाहर के लोगों से कोई मतलब नहीं होना चाहिए। तो पैलेस्टाइन क्यों करते हैं आप लोग? हमास के लिए क्यों आपके दिल में दर्द होता है, ये बताइए। बाहर का अगर नहीं करना चाहिए तो फिर पैलेस्टाइन और हमास क्यों करते हैं?
फिलिस्तीन, आप देश से कहिए कि पैलेस्टीन को दुश्मन कंट्री घोषित कर दे।
नहीं, क्यों देश से कहें?
शहजाद पूनावाला से कहिए, बताइए पैलेस्टीन।
अरे शहजाद पूनावाला क्यों कहेंगे? मैं तो आपसे एक सवाल पूछ रहा हूं, मैं जानना चाहता हूं, आपके पास जवाब नहीं है। आप तैयारी करके आते हैं, लेकिन ये नहीं सोचते हैं कि मेरे इस आंसर पे कोई कुछ और बोल देगा तो आगे क्या बोलना है।
अब देखिए प्रणेश जी, पैलेस्टाइन नहीं फिलिस्तीन बोलते हैं, मुसलमान फिलिस्तीन बोलता है। आपको तो प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी नहीं आता, कुछ भी मतलब आपको अपोज करना है तो इसके लिए अपोज करना। पर आई टेल यू, पैलेस्टाइन, सऊदी अरेबिया, यूएई, बहरीन, इजिप्ट, मालदीव्स, ऑल ऑफ देम हैव गिवन द हाईएस्ट सिविलियन ऑनर टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी। और ये जो मुसलमानों की ठेकेदारी करते हैं, 50 साल से इनकी पार्टी है, एक सीट से ज्यादा नहीं जीत पाए, हैदराबाद छोड़ के आगे नहीं जीत पाए।
मिस्टर रेड्डी,
मुसलमानों के नुमाइंदे।
व्हेन विल दिस
Pranesh,
the paranoia, propaganda, what have you stopped?
Pranesh ji, let me add a couple of more points before I come to what you asked. In Turkey and in the erstwhile Yugoslavia, they had these Waqf boards, and since there was a bit of misappropriation, it was nationalized and redistributed for the welfare of the Muslims there. Similar things should have been done in India also, because there were a handful of people who have been like leeches on the poor, and they have been benefiting out of it. Such a stringent action was not taken. And one more thing I would like to say, a lot of these guys who talk about Palestine or Palestine, or however that guy wants to pronounce it, none of them would have ever gone there, and they have no clue about that place. But it is just the mindset. You know, one of this Pakistani journalist who passed away, Tare Fateh, was saying, some of these guys have these problems in their mind. Such guys have to be identified. They need to be stripped, taken to the border, and thrown into across the fence. That is the only solution. Because a few guys are instigating all the good Muslims and trying to benefit out of this, creating a false sense of, that something has gone to them. I bet to you, the Muslims in India are living in much more freedom and happiness than the Muslim countries also. I take a challenge on this. Now let's take country by country. With this kind of a freedom, do you think in any Muslim country a Muslim has? What?
Ramzan. Does he want to throw him out of the country? Chandra Babu Naidu offered namaz Kulayam during Ramzan iftar dawat. Does he want to throw him out of the country? I accept his challenge. Please
ताला भाई, आपको सवाल या तो समझ में नहीं आया या जवाब आपको देना नहीं है। कहां से कहां जोड़ रहे हैं, क्या बोल रहे हैं वो, और आपने क्या बना दिया उसको? ये देखिए, सुनिए सर, ये स्टंट मेरे साथ तो ट्राई मत कीजिए, कहीं दूसरी जगह जाइए, वो शायद उनको अच्छा लगेगा। ताला भाई ऐसे मत कीजिए, सवाल का जवाब है आपके पास, आप बता दीजिए। बोलते रहते हैं हर रोज मुस्लिम्स आर परसिक्यूटेड। व्हाट परसिक्यूशन इज दिस सर? लुक, द मैन ऑन योर स्क्रीन, ही इज परसिक्यूटेड, ही इज द फेस ऑफ परसिक्यूशन। जाहिद सैफी, क्यों मारा उनको? बिकॉज ही स्टूड विद मोदी। Then you have this man from Karnataka, Anwar. He backed the Waqf law. देखिए उनको डेथ थ्रेट्स आ रहे हैं, एंड मणिपुर में घर जला दिया। और कमरुज़मान चौधरी जी आप बोल रहे थे बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर सर एक बात बताइए the parliament, the constitution gives the power to parliament to legislate. That is also part of the basic structure.
Let me just come and correct you on Manipur. You know, this is not about one leader in Manipur. It's about the years of erasure, of being told your pain doesn't matter, and then watching your own people clap for it. That's why
the man set his house on fire so that people could film it, so that Kamruzaman Chaudhary can come and explain on a debate. Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, sir, kuch to maryada rakhiye sir, please. Let's let's introspect before we open our mouths. You can't condemn what has happened to this man, Asghar Ali. You're making theories here, conspiracy theories, wild theories of what has happened. Why is Mr. Owaisi not tweeting? Where are, those people who hold a placard?
Can I make a quick point?
Pranesh, it's of course condemnable. Nobody is justifying the criminal act that has happened out there. Nobody is justifying it. But have you ever condemned the people in Ram Navami dancing on top of the mosque, shouting anti-Muslim slogans in the Bombay airport? Have you done any debate on that?
Of course, sir.
This is
of
what
course.
we call the eraser of the Muslim from the political,
of course, that is condemnable.
Social, economic landscape of India. No, you have not.
Of course I have.
Yes.
वो video चला दीजिए sir of people dancing on top of mosque. चला दीजिए, I will condemn it, sir. You want to put me in a spot, I will condemn it. Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, answer the question on basic structure. Who has the powers to legislate? Sir, आप बताइए ना, who has the powers to legislate?
Listen. No, Pranesh, please do not come unprepared on a debate like this. You know, when the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act 2014 was challenged in the Supreme Court and was overturned, when the Single Land Rehabilitation and Development Act was overturned by the Supreme Court, when the Jammu and Kashmir Resettlement Act 1982, when the State of Bihar's Cattle Preservation Act was struck down by the Supreme Court, and most importantly the 42nd Amendment, wherein the court struck down clauses that give primacy to directive principles over fundamental rights. That was also
Shehzad, don't fault them for going to Supreme Court.
Proving the point I am trying to make. Mr. Kamru, please hear. You are proving the point I am trying to make. CAA was not struck down by the courts. Teen Talaq law was actually told by the courts to be made. 370 was not struck down by the courts. And if Waqf is actually illegal, it will be struck down by the courts. But what gives you the right to beat up somebody or burn somebody's house? Second point, you are condemning the criminal act, but you are not condemning the mens rea or the intent or the ecosystem that gives the protection and encourages for such acts to take place. Which says ki Shaheen Bagh banana hoga. Which says ki aag lag jayegi desh mein. Thirdly, Atiq Ahmed, today it has come out in the news, 71 crore of Waqf property was stolen by him. How is it Hindu-Muslim issue? Idukki's secretary, Mr. Benny, has said the Congress has not taken cognizance of the request of the Christian community. Their lands have been taken away by the Waqf board. Is the Christian community right or is the Waqf board right? Please tell me now. And lastly, sir, please listen, sir. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, आप कमरू भी है, चौधरी भी है, पर आप सिर्फ कमरू की तरह बात करते हैं, चौधरी की तरह सुनते ही नहीं कभी. सुन लीजिए ना आराम से. मैं सिर्फ आपसे इतना पूछना चाहता हूं. आप बोल रहे हैं ना कि dancing on mosque, etc., nobody condones it. If it is an illegal act, please take action. But a chief minister of Bengal says that there are certain areas one should not go to, and if you go to it, that means you are creating the danga. It is a ganda dharm. Now you tell me that have you condemned the chief minister of Bengal for calling an entire dharm as ganda dharm?
Can I reply? Pranesh, I need 10 seconds to reply.
Sir,
has he
50 seconds
that fraud Baba who has said that he is creating a Hindu village. Has he condemned that?
Why?
No, he will not condemn because it suits their narrative of Hindu appeasement.
Muslim state ठीक है, Hindu village गलत हो गया.
That's the fight we are fighting.
मुस्लिम स्टेट वो महबूबा मुफ्ती और उसकी बेटी बोल रही है तब ठीक बोल रहे थे.
हिंदू विलेज में भी तो कंडेम करो जब बोलो.
अरे पर हिंदू क्या है? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला वे ऑफ लाइफ
एक्सपोज हो गया बाबा. कल तो पेमेंट आना बंद हो जाएगा तुम्हारा. बॉस तुम्हारा तो पेमेंट आना बंद हो जाएगा.
जवाब भी दे दीजिए कमरुज़मान जी.
तो हिंदू विलेज.
अरे आपके ऊपर अभी भी हिंदू का आधा असर चौधरी पे है. आप कहां वो हिंदू को गलत बोल रहे हैं? आप तो आधा हिंदू ही है, कमरू से मुस्लिम।
अच्छा, but Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, sir, you know, what do you make of the Christian community's, you know, complaint or concern from the Congress party? They are not happy with the anti-reform stand that you've taken. What will you tell them?
No. There is a misunderstanding between the Christian community and the Waqf board in Kerala, and I hope this is going to be sorted out. But don't try to mix and generalize the entire fakery. The foundation of the Waqf bill is based on fake news by the BJP ministers inside the parliament.
Okay.
The basic point out
Sir,
here.
the basic
next
point out here, 1 minute.
important
Basic, don't, you know, you're talking like IP Singh now, सवाल ये. The basic point out here is that the Congress has tied itself in knots. अब उनको पता ही नहीं चल रहा है कि क्या बोले. Which is why perhaps Rahul Gandhi didn't speak. अभी भी चुप है. There are people from the Muslim community who are questioning silence of Priyanka Gandhi also on this. So you have to, sir, find answers to this question. देखिए, ताला भाई भी finally agree कर रहे हैं मुझसे. फाइनली जब मैंने ये बोला था वो उनके चेहरे पे हंसी आई है, नहीं तो उनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा था क्या, अभी तक मार्जिनलाइज थे, अब वो मेन स्ट्रीम हो गए. व्यूअर्स, लेट्स शिफ्ट आवर अटेंशन, लेट्स मूव ऑन.